All right, guys. Well, Happy New Year. It's the end of another awesome year for the channel. And I was thinking that a good way to send out 2022 would be to look at my favorite days of the year. This year, once again, I didn't leave the country, but I did take trips out west, up north, down south, and back east. So I do have a lot of parks to pick from. Narrowing this down to a top 5 was really difficult. Back in July, we went to Carowinds, but it was only supposed to be for like a couple hours. We ended up spending like 3 to 4 hours there, but we ended up riding everything because there was nobody there. 2021, I was there on a Saturday with a fast lane. And even with fast lane, you couldn't ride anything. So me and Sophie are just going from ride to ride, just walking on. We almost hit every single ride in the park. Another awesome day was a day that we went to Dollywood. I haven't always had the best luck with Dollywood, but this time it was just so much better. The rain didn't help, but that's not really the park's fault. Another thing I loved about Dollywood was that was the first time that Sophie really came out of her shell. Don't get me wrong, this girl is a lot more brave than I was back when I was her age, but she was still trying to avoid like the most crazy and fast rides. By the end of the night, she actually came up to me and said, I want to ride Lightning Rod. So right before close, we got one awesome night ride. And that kind of seemed to be the key to unlock her braveness for pretty much everything else on that trip. And near the end of that trip, my number 5 park day was Busch Gardens Tampa. This is another park that I walked to before the girls got there. It was a Saturday, it was crowded, but I bought quick queue, so it was all good. I made a lap around the park and rode everything there was to ride. Sophie came midday, we rode a bunch of stuff, and then the rain came in and shut down the park for like 2-3 hours. But in the end, I got 4 rides on Iron Gwazi and Sophie got 1. I think that deserves a spot in the top 5. My number 4 day was Six Flags Fiesta Texas. We went there on Labor Day and we even got some backstage access. Going up on the quarry wall has always been a dream, and that's something the park made possible. Sophie got rides on Wonder Woman, Iron Rattler, Poltergeist, Dr. Diabolical, but her favorite ride by far was Joker. She was always kind of scared to ride Crazanity. After riding Joker, I think this is her new favorite kind of ride. We got to stay open till close and see the awesome fireworks show. So the main point of the big trip out east was to go to Disney World. We hit all 4 parks and we enjoyed all of them, but my favorite day, personally, was Animal Kingdom. First, Expedition Everest is an S-tier Disney coaster. It was so good, it was the only one that we decided to go back and ride twice. That safari was awesome. Flight of Passage was top tier. The park just all around is beautiful. It may not be the most popular Disney park, but it was the one that I had the most fun at. So on the trip up north, that was the one that we were supposed to go to Lost Island. This park opened 1 week late, but we took the trip anyway. We went to Valleyfair, Adventureland, and Worlds of Fun. But by far the best day that we had was the one that we went to Como Zoo in the Mall of America. Okay, the zoo was just alright. We got to see the animals. The park opened way after it was supposed to. We got to ride the Zyklon. It was a good time, but really, the best part was going to Nickelodeon Universe. I was just there in 2021, but this time, me and Sophie had unlimited wristbands and the park was not that crowded. Valleyfair the day before was a madhouse. Everything at Nickelodeon Universe was pretty much a walk-on. Sophie got to ride all 5 coasters. We rode all the flats. It was just some of the most pure fun that I've ever had at a park. But my number 1, and the number 1 shared by I think the whole family, that was Busch Gardens Williamsburg. It's funny, while we're there, I'm sitting there like, it almost feels bad that we can use our SeaWorld passes here. It seems like this park is too high class to get in for free. Anyway, this was the day after Dollywood, so Sophie was down for pretty much anything. She rode her first B&M in Griffin, her first B&M Hyper in Apollo's Chariot. Once again, rain delayed a lot of our day, but the last hour the park was open, the park was pretty much empty. We got 3 rides on Pantheon, 1 on Apollo's Chariot, and 1 on Tempesto. Because of the rain, we had to skip Amy's train, but we did get the very rare ferry credit. That more than made up for it. The park is beautiful, it has amazing rides. We were able to stay from open to close. Sophie's dying to come back to this park. I don't think we'll make it back this year, but maybe soon. Okay, now for 2023 plans. First off, about a year ago, I posted my Magic Mountain documentary in full, just kind of as a throwaway, because it seemed like people wanted it, so I figured, why not? That thing took off like crazy, it has almost 1 million views, so thank you to everyone out there who supported that project. Last year, I did Kings Island, and that was a lot of fun. It was also amazing visiting Kings Island on his 50th birthday. But this year, I decided my documentary project will be Astroworld. This is a park that I've never been to. It was located in Houston, Texas, and closed down in 2005. I think it would be really interesting to do a full in-depth look at that park. Okay, now for trip plans. This year, I have 2 major trips in the works, and these can change. For the first one, the main point is going to Canada and going to Hershey Park. I haven't been to Canada's Wonderland in 5 years, and I want to get to Hershey Park, of course, for Wildcat's Revenge. On the way, I want to go to Worlds of Fun for Zambezi Zinger. Also, Lost Island. We may also hit up Six Flags Great America. The family wants to see Niagara Falls, so I might go back to Darien Lake for the first time in 5 years. There's also Kennywood, Cedar Point, and hopefully, if I go on the 4th of July, Stricker's Grove. So that's trip number 1. Trip number 2 is a whole lot more interesting. This year, I joined the Coaster Crew, and they're planning a trip to Scandinavia. I signed up for this trip. Denmark, Norway, Sweden. There's a whole lot of parks there and a whole bunch of great coasters. This trip's in August, and it will be my first time outside of North America. There's also going to be some minor unplanned trips throughout the year. I'll get back to Texas. I'll probably go to Six Flags St. Louis, maybe even Magic Springs. But those 2 trips are the big ones, and those should give the channel a lot of vlogs, reviews, all kinds of stuff. So that's all I have for now. Once again, Happy New Year, thanks for watching, thanks for all your support, and I'll see y'all next time.